Hello to wherever you may be, and thanks for listening. The world's energy demand is increasing at a rapid rate, and we require that to be a low carbon emission, reliable baseload energy source. And that's where nuclear power comes into the mix. Nuclear power is what the world requires. It's low carbon, it's reliable, it's there when you need to turn the lights on, it's there. So and as the demand is increasing, the supply is diminishing. So and the reason for that is that the spot price or the uranium contract price is so low that these companies have gone into care and maintenance and lowered the production. And also the impact of COVID last year meant that some of these mines have gone into care and maintenance to protect their workforce. So whilst the demand for nuclear is increasing, the source of the nuclear power is uranium, and uranium supply is diminishing. So what a perfect time to be involved in the uranium industry, where the only way for the uranium price to go is up because we have to have a sustainable industry, and to only have a sustainable industry, we need a higher uranium price to incentivize production. And that's where we step in. A few years ago, we developed a strategy to acquire projects and tenements that met a defined criteria and to explore on those tenements. All this was underpinned by our upgrade process, our uranium beneficiation process. Now we've delivered on that strategy. We've picked up 48 million pounds of high-grade assets in Australia. We're successfully exploring on a large tenement position in Namibia, the largest in the country for nuclear fuels. And upgrade is really lowering the cost base and incentivizing us to go out and explore and acquire. And that's really what we've been doing. So as I say, fantastic time to be involved in uranium and really working hard for our shareholders to make sure that we've got value there. The greatest blue sky for us is in Namibia. It's a world-class uranium province. Rossing's been operating there since 1976. We've been targeting uranium mineralisation in paleochannels, so secondary uranium deposits. So if you look at this map, uranium has leached out of the mountains in the east in Namibia and flowed towards the coast over many millions of years and precipitated in these old river systems, which we call paleochannels. So we're looking for those. They're generally less than 20 metres in depth. There's a vast amount of area in Namibia where paleochannels do exist, both north of Rossing and south of Rossing, where existing mines have been developed. So that's our target mineralisation. It's a calcrete-hosted paleochannel, all shallow, all suitable for application of upgrades, which I'll explain a little bit in a minute. So we've been focusing our efforts down in the southeast of the Orongo region, down in the Namib area. And that's where we've picked up this contiguous land package where we believe that because the solution has flowed through into these existing projects of Langer Heinrich, Tumas and Oceananus, it must have flowed through where we've picked up this ground upstream of these deposits. And that's where we're exploring. So copies we've explored there, we've found quite a bit of uranium. We've elected not to go and drill a resource out, and that would cost us in the order of $1 million to do so, and initiate a study. So what we decided to do, instead of spending that $1 million, which by the way is only going to take 3 months to drill that project out to get a resource, and that can happen as soon as uranium price starts to move to a level that we're happy with. We've spent 120 grand down at Hirabeb to find the longest paleochannel around in Namibia at the moment, and it's longer than the width of the English Channel. So it's a huge paleochannel system, and that costs us 120 grand to find it. So that's a sort of indication of what we're trying to do with our money. We're trying to look regionally, understand what's around, and then work out how many more copies there may be, so that when the uranium price starts to move really quite positively north, we can just hit these projects and drill them out, get resources, then move towards the next stage. So the other project we've been dealing with is the Namib 4. We've gone and done some ground HLEM, which we have identified this large paleochannel system, 19 kilometres long by about 6 kilometres wide. So we did that whilst we were waiting for an airborne EM survey, electromagnetic survey, to cover this area. That started in April, and we're expecting results by somewhere in the order of July, by the time they complete the survey and analyse all the data. So whilst we were waiting for that to identify drill targets by identifying where the paleochannels are, we've gone across to Namib 4 and identified a large paleochannel system there. So we've got plenty of blue sky in Namibia. excellent exploration success so far, and we look forward to continual exploration in Namibia and accelerating that, because we're now accelerating it because we have the EM survey coming in, which will cover this area and identify where the paleochannels are, versus what we used to do is these ground-based geophysics, which takes a long time to cover the same area. So that'll really improve where we're at and get us moving fast into the future. We also picked up these Australian assets. They were sold 4 years ago or so by Paladin when they went into a voluntary administration. All these projects are ex-Paladin except the Thatcher Soak in Australia. So our geologist we've got for us used to work for Paladin, so he's very familiar with these. Probably the best asset there is a 31 million pound, 1300 ppm project at Angela, just south of Alice Springs. An example of why we picked these up, because we thought we could add value to them, both by geological work and also through our upgrade process. And what upgrade's done here is that this project was the impediment to being developed by Cameco and Paladin when they held it 5 years ago, was that the acid consumption was too high in the leach. It's somewhere in the order of 100, 120 kilos per tonne, which costs quite a bit of money to get the acid into Alice Springs. So what we've done is used our smarts and we've reduced the acid consumption from the sample that we tested from 104 to 24 kilos per tonne. So that's 80 kilos per tonne reduction. And when you consider the acid price is 40 cents per kilogram, that's equivalent to $32 a tonne of operating cost reduction. So that's a huge benefit for this project and really enables us to now to go forward and understand what that cost structure will look like, which is what we'll work on. So that's an example of what Upgrade can do. And we believe Upgrade is a differentiator between us and our peers. It's 100% owned and patented, developed in collaboration with the CSIRO in Australia, but it's fully owned by us. It rejects basically greater than 95% of the mass prior to leaching, and that's through application of beneficiation processes, which you can find in gold, base metal, and mineral sands plant. We just configure them in an unconventional manner and apply them to uranium. So that's what makes it patentable and innovative. On the uranium, on Marenica uranium project, which is a low-grade project, 93 ppm, we've taken that concentrate to 5,000 ppm prior to leaching. So that's a 50+ times upgrade. So that's a substantial increase in grade, and hence that is the reason why the OPEX and CAPEX both come down by approximately 50% compared to conventional processing for these styles of ores. So it also rejects the acid consumers, and if you get into that much detail, thence we can go to an acid leach. And if you're familiar with these types of ores, you need an alkali leach, high temperature, acid leach quite significantly cheaper at ambient temperature. So what it also does is upgrade process, because it produces a concentrate, it gives us optionality. We can either leach that concentrate on site and produce uranium through a refinery, or we've got the option of trucking that concentrate to somewhere like Rossing, for instance, in Namibia, and where they've got established facilities since 1976, put it into their leach circuit, and they produce yellowcake for us, or a number of options there. So what it means is that we've got optionality in terms of we can put a yellowcake refinery on site, or we can transport it off site. And because we've got those two options, we can then either develop lower grade projects or smaller projects than our peers could, or we could without this upgrade process. So it really is a game changer for us, and it's a relatively simple process. As much as I hate using the word simple, it did take a fair bit of development, but it has got a fantastic outcome for us, and we're the only ones with it, so that gives us the edge. From a corporate point of view, we've got a small, nimble board, 3 directors on one of them. We've got technical expertise on the champion of the upgrade process, and we've got a low number of shares, and directors and management have got skin in the game. We hold 6.6% of the company. The last cap raising we did, we put a fair bit of money in because we strongly believe in the uranium thematic, and we also believe in what we're doing as a company, and look forward to adding value for shareholders. So just in summary, we've got a large-scale Namibian tenement holdings, the largest in the country for nuclear fuels, and we are actively exploring on those, and we accelerate that exploration this year following the airborne EM. We've got this underdeveloped high-grade uranium asset portfolio in Australia, which we've already demonstrated we can add value to it. And we've got this upgrade process, and that's what's adding value to the likes of Angela and these deposits in Namibia, and is the incentive for us, is the catalyst for us to go and explore and acquire. So it's a clear differentiator for us, and we look forward to taking these projects further and adding value for shareholders. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to discussing this in more detail with anybody that's willing to have a chat. Thank you.